Hey cactus friends, it's Jenny from Cookies Cacti. I hope you all never tire of Copiapoa seedling content because here I am with another video about my Copiapoa seedlings. But this time I want to focus on the topic of developing Farina. I feel like Farina is kind of the holy grail of a characteristic that people want to develop of their Copiapoa that are in cultivation. First, because it mimics how they really look in their natural habitat, and it's also a really cool look. And Farina is kind of challenging to develop in cultivation because, well, first of all, we're not really mimicking their natural habitat. And in particular, we tend to treat our plants well. Whereas in habitat, they're just struggling to stay alive. And Farina most likely is a defensive mechanism to protect them from the elements, most likely. Now, the reason why I want to talk about the topic of Farina here is because these are my Copiapoa seedlings, which many of you are very familiar with by now. I grew all of these from seed, and they have been sitting outside under this pergola for 2 summers now. And some of them are developing Farina. Not all of them, but some of them. And I want to show you some examples. Like this pot of 4 right here. You see that taller one in the back? I'm going to zoom in, use my phone to zoom in. You see that, I don't know, I guess that waxy gray material that is developing on its skin? That is that coveted Farina. Now, these plants, of course, they're my seedlings, so they were babied growing up. But since being placed outside, many of you know that I've had the challenge the first summer where I accidentally killed a whole bunch of my seedlings because it got really hot and they got watered. So this past summer, I refrained from watering at all in the summertime. Sometimes I would come and mist the plants, but that was about it. And now, I don't know if you can tell, but the ground is actually still damp because it has been raining for the past 4 or 5 days. So all of these pots are wet. So they're basically being taken care of by nature. And as a result of a pretty tough life, I think that is contributing to their Farina development. A lot of these pots are actually from the Lazy Way to Grow Cactus from Seed series. So they're actually potted in Miracle-Gro Perlite with Miracle-Gro Seed Starter. So it's not a purely inorganic mineral mix. It has peat moss in it. And if you can see in the surface of these pots, I did throw some Osmocote fairly recently, I think in the last month, because Copiapoa tend to be winter growers for me. So, by throwing fertilizer in the pots, it's probably going to hinder Farina development because that is helping them. But I am not developing the Farina on purpose. I'm terrified of giving these plants much love because they tend to die when I do that. So this is kind of a side effect of me trying not to kill the plants. So we're going to visit some of these pots of Copiapoa seedlings, and I'm going to show you the Farina that has developed. And some of the plants don't have any Farina either, so I'll show you that as well. I'm going to start with the Copiapoa species that is probably most well known for Farina, which is Copiapoa Cinerea. This is one of my Cinerea seedlings. I only have 2, and it has developed the heaviest Farina out of all the seedlings that I have. Why is it doing that? I have no idea, because it has a sibling, which I've talked about before, that does not have as dense of a Farina as this one does. But here's an example where I'm getting that waxy white coating that I feel like many Copiapoa growers are striving for, and I'm not doing anything special except leaving it alone. Let me show you its sibling, which is not so heavy on the Farina. So here is its sibling. It came from the same seed batch as the other Cinerea. I don't know if it came from the same mother plant or not, though. I purchased the seeds from somebody on Instagram. But you can see that this is also Cinerea. It has some Farina on it, but it's just not as dense and gray and white as the other seedling. I don't know why. I think they're potted in the same medium, but for some reason, one of them is developing that heavier, waxy look. So Cinerea are kind of the most well known for that Farina look, but I want to show you some other species that I'm seeing the Farina develop as well. These are just Lembeckii or Lembeckii var magnifica, one of those two. And you can see this seedling also has that gray stuff on it. There are some more seedlings here as well that show more of that Farina look. Same Calderana species. However, I also have some Copiapoa Calderana Lembecki, same seed catalog, that have really smooth, clean skin that don't show signs of that Farina, even though these plants were treated in exactly the same manner. Why? I don't know. Maybe it's kind of like those two Cinerea. I personally do like that Farina look, but you know what? I think whether they have Farina or not, I think they're beautiful either way. Let me show you another species that we typically don't talk about when it comes to Farina. This is Copiapoa molecula, and you see the seedling here? It's got that gray waxiness on it as well. So that's kind of interesting. I have another species that I saw Farina show up as well. Let me show you. I have a whole set of Copiapoa olivana, although olivana I don't think is an actual official species name. So I noticed that one of the seedlings here has the most prominent sign of Farina, that same gray waxy coating. Guess I'll just continue leaving them alone. So here's another one that I wanted to show the Farina that's not a Cinerea. Here's another one. This is just Copiapoa humilis. And I'll show you some up close footage of these seedlings, but you can also see there's that Farina developing. It's really interesting. I also saw this seedling here, which is a Copiapoa grandiflora. But you see Farina on that seedling, Farina on this seedling as well. Very interesting. I also see it developing on some of the Coquimbana. Coquimbana is another species that is just not that hype compared to Cinerea. But look, it's also developing Farina. And you can see those new spines coming in. Yep, it's Copiapoa season in Phoenix. I have one single columna alba that I've talked about many times as well, my seedling, and it's the only one that I have because everything else died. And you can see that it also has a bit of Farina on it as well. I have another pot of seedlings I would like to share with you. These were not grown by me from seed. They were grown by one of the CACSS members, Eric. He was moving and donated so many of his seedlings to the Cactus Society, and so I got a couple from him at one of the meetings. And you can see on the back left is a Cinerea, and he had marked, I think these are Mesa Garden seeds just based off of the code number. So it's a Cinerea KK77, and it has the sow dates of when he grew these from seed. So they're a couple years old. So you can see the Cinerea in the back left also developing some nice Farina as well. It's not horrendously dense and, white, but it's got a little bit of it on there. So after I got the seedlings from Eric, I transplanted them into the Miracle-Gro mix. That's right. They are in peat moss and perlite. They seem to be pretty happy. I don't know though. I have lost so many plants. Right when you think they're doing well, they will surprise you in a very unpleasant way, so we don't hold our breath on any of these guys. The last plant I would like to show you is not one of my seedlings. It is a Copiapoa delbata that I got from Woody Minnick at the 2023 CACSS show and sale, and I think I even did a haul video with this plant included, and I only have one group picture showing it when I got it. I'll include a zoomed in photo of this delbata when I got it from Woody, and you'll see that it's just a pretty clean green skin. And now I've had it for over 2.5 years, and you can see it has also developed Farina on it as well. I don't water this at all in the summer. I pretty much forget that it's even here. So what is the key to Farina development? I really think it's just stress and allowing them to use their, I don't know if you can call it their talent to survive. And in that process, they develop the farina as at least partially a protective mechanism. Now, is there a soil component to all this? Possibly, but I have not personally tried things to confirm that or not. These plants are all planted in different mediums, varying from my Miracle-Gro seed starter with Miracle-Gro perlite to my standard cactus mix, which is 75% pumice with 25% cactus mix. So I don't know if soil has to do with it. It probably does, because I would imagine certain types of soils stress the plants out a bit more or require them to work harder to survive. So that is my unproven commentary on developing Farina for Copiapoa. I could be completely wrong. So use your best judgment. Let me know what you all think, those of you who grow Copiapoa. Do you see similar things happening on your plants as well, based off of water availability and potentially soil medium as well? Let me know. I would love to learn from what you all have experienced as well. Happy growing, y'all. Take care. Bye-bye.